Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful, beautiful day. My other daughter and my grandbaby both left. They're doing things, and my woman's at work. So, Google was glazing my poems. I don't mean that in no disrespect. So I was surprised. Google was showing things about my poems that I didn't even know. And you know what? It made me realize I'm the one that wrote the poetry, but when I approach Google, I say things like, "Oh my goodness, this poet is so amazing. Could you analyze it for me? There's a lot going on." And when Google analyzes the poem, it basically shows a lot of the stuff that I was thinking when I wrote it. But Google, oh my God. But when Google was doing this with my basic poetry that I wrote, it made me realize that's the greater things we can do sometimes. So let me explain. I know exactly what every line meant in each of those poems, and I showed Google a lot of poems. And the thing about Google is, the great thing about Google for me, which upset me at first, but then I realized, whenever you end a session with Google AI, it completely resets to its engineer settings. So, like, one time I gave Google a bunch of poems, and we were having a string of conversations, and then if you're a gamer, you know what it means to time out or lose connection temporarily or, something of that nature. Well, then Google reset, and I sent it another poem thinking, like, oh, okay, maybe the page refreshed. And when I sent it the poem, the Google was like, hi, I'm Google, and this is an interesting. And I was like, no. But I realized why that happens for a couple reasons to keep people safe because you don't to keep people safe. That's all I need to say because I don't need to disrespect people. The problem with how I believe is that I believe everything I do is righteous, is intelligent. But when I think of other people, the news got me. They get me. Got them. It's like, oh, what about all those people, Florida mans and Idaho mans and blah, blah. They got me, and I'm doing the same thing to y'all that they do. Could you imagine being somebody from Florida? Every time you go somewhere, they probably like, oh, Florida, did you see Florida? Welcome to the cookout, brethren. I'm going to get the rest of y'all motherfuckers. It's just a matter of time. And the ones I don't get, y'all going to destroy yourselves. I'm sorry. I don't actually open this video to say we should stop saying we should stop prophecy and saying in the name of the Lord. And you know who popped in the back of my head when I said that? I think Jeremiah. He said, either one of the prophets, they said, no longer will we say in the name of the Lord. Because real talk, the reason why I would tell y'all to stop doing that is because for two reasons. When niggas say in the name of the Lord, then their names get put in a book and a whole bunch of crazy shit happen. And also, niggas that are unaware of it when they say in the name of the Lord, they send other niggas in their oppressive countries to be like, oh, I follow the Lord. And then their current country don't believe in that shit at the time and get them murked. You know who one of the most respected live streamers from me right now, real talk? I mean like live streamers, the ones that's out here doing their thing, is Rashad Crenshaw. Shout out. And the reason why I like Rashad Crenshaw is because for a few reasons. But one, I have never been muted in Rashad Crenshaw's chat. Now, if you're my other friends and family that watch me, y'all don't really do lives, you know what I'm saying? And I fucks with y'all. But Rashad Crenshaw, then, I said something provocative. He was talking about how we have neglected Ukraine and helped Palestine. Let me tell you why that's like 17 mind fucks. So in the chat, I said, and this how I know Rashad is the truth, because you can almost gauge a YouTuber by their commenters. And some YouTubers are influenced by their highest paying commenters. When I first started doing this little journey on YouTube, I'm fairly present with the real world, but ironically, I was a little behind when it comes to internet culture. Now, as a child, if you know who I am, and one of my friends and family be like, what the fuck? Bev's son, Juan, Beth, Elizabeth, Bruce's son, Juan, was ignorant to, why did I just say her whole government? I'm about to edit that out, probably. But, so, y'all probably be confused at that statement, because I stopped fucking with the internet for a while. For a few reasons. One reason, because the same reason now, the internet was not a real place. It was nutty. When I say not a real place, I mean because humanity's reflection of the internet is not a real good reflection of humanity. Because on the internet, you can do and say what you want. But a lot of humanity don't behave like that. I need y'all to understand that. Y'all are probably the same right-wingers y'all see all day on YouTube and Twitter and X and Purple and Green. Them motherfuckers, blah, 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 blah. A lot of them are from other countries making a lot of fucking money. And that has to do with because of how inflated the USD is with the rest of the world. For now. But what y'all need to understand is when it comes to the real world, why do y'all think when y'all seen this young African American child stealing water and he ran and got shot, they're all like, oh, what? They know what it is. But at the same time, why is it that when Chud the Butler went around going chimp and monkey if they love guns and hate the blacks, why he facing this type of cruelty? Because I'm telling you all, from the bottom of, you guys are going to have scriptures in your heart. Every man be a liar. Look what he does with his hands. Look what he does with his hands. And you're probably going to be thinking, oh, look at this liar, Negro sinner. But I can assure you, America has rules and regulations. Everybody that gets on the internet and goes, oh, freedom of speech. Go into one of these courthouses and I will show you freedom of speech. Every immigrant in this country knows the laws. That's why they shrill to stay longer. Not all immigrants shrill. I am not sorry for what I just said. I am sorry for the way I said it to not edify, to cause maybe some immigrants to watch me and say, what about me? Cool, there you go. Some manna. So, I rambled. What the fuck was I talking about? Now new point. This country ain't as free as y'all think. And I'm not saying this to tell y'all that you'll be slaves. Actually, here's the mind fuck. If I was in a lot of these other countries that people come from, I would be happy to come here. And I will probably do the same thing that they do. This is my leeway. But I'm telling you, from somebody that's from here, imagine you're from another country. And me as an American, I just saw Clavicular go to Europe. I need y'all to understand, not all white people are racist. You see what happened to Clavicular as soon as he went to Europe. Listen to you're a blackie, hand signaling. So maybe some people are going to listen. Y'all will probably watch my videos and go, why does he keep saying that? This ain't friendly family. This ain't a safe space. Look what he's doing with his hands. And if you're mentally ill in this country, you know why I do that. What do they do to the mentally ill in this country? What do they do to immigrants in this country? You don't have to virtue signal with me. I'm telling you, they've copyrighted me 172 times. I can show you a video of these things. I don't care. I make my income. Look, watch this. Somebody from somebody's community, I'm not going to keep saying his name, tried to dox me and kept calling my job and got me fired from my last. They didn't give me nothing, but they tried to attempt to dox me. And my own reflection of my own character, America, we're all equal, you do it to yourself, right? What they didn't realize is I worked at a mental health facility. I'm a CNA. So when people watch me and go, oh, he's a liar, he's a homeless, I'm lying about being a CNA? Do y'all not know what that acronym is? Certified Nurses Assistants. There. Other people lying to you about prestigious businessmen and executives, and I drive cars, and I'm the Matrix. I'm a CN fucking A. What am I lying to y'all about? Come be a CNA in America. Anyways, off that. What I'm telling y'all is, I'm not saying that I'm not a liar. I will tell y'all that I will lie to protect you many times. But what I'm telling, they're gonna call you the Satan because they only listen to the book. There's a reason why the word was crucified. It has to do with the dead letter and following. The same reason why the word had to be crucified. You don't have to come for me. I'm telling y'all, follow. He told them to follow the Father. Fuck. You know what I'm starting to run into while I drink a lot? I think I did the same thing John the Baptist did. And y'all will watch my videos and be like, oh, he's crazy. Yeah. And then you'll listen to CIA agents that tell you we can hack your phones, your cars, your TVs, your blah, blah, blah. And then go listen to people in mental health institutions talk. They're listening to me. Oh, they're crazy. I don't want to say America, this is planet Earth. Because when I said, be nice to the Chinese, look what happened to Asian Americans multiple times in the last 5 years, 6 years. And then look what China's doing with the little dolls that I shared in my description. Then I said, oh, respect the Russians, Putin, blah, blah, blah. And I did some research on fucking Putin. You know why I did that for Putin? Because I did research back to Rashad Kersaw's chat. I went in Rashad Kersaw's chat as he was making a point. He said the Ukrainians was getting attacked and nobody cared. I need to tell you something. I went in his chat and said, I try to do it as light as I can because a lot of people mute me, a lot of people block me. I got something to say about atheists after I say this. I said in his chat, look, Rashad, it's kind of a nuance. I said, there's a lot of Nazis in Ukraine, and I didn't know this because if you guys, I delete a lot of videos for a couple reasons. As I do my research, sometimes I delete videos because I'm not a fucking liar. And I was advocating for Ukraine. Civil rights, help Ukraine. And as I went down the Ukrainian rabbit hole, remember when I said the Americans wrote their own history, they boasted about it? We got them niggas, criminals of war. The Ukrainians, okay, so when Hitler was doing all that in World War II, you might not know this, but Kyiv and Ukraine was one of their countries, their allies. China and Russia was our fucking allies. Mindfuck time. Okay, so let's learn about the presidents in Kyiv and what they're trying to fight for independence. Do you not know the people that are trying to fight for independence are the Nazis? What is JB talking about? I'm turning his video off. He's not a lefty. See? I don't know what to tell y'all. I advocated for Ukraine. I said Russia's so bad. Remember the Cold War, the socialists. I researched Putin, but then I researched Ukraine. Their last few presidents had to get overthrown because they were Nazis, literally. The BBC made a documentary over 15 years ago now called The Nazis in Ukraine. Then when Putin went after the Nazis, because y'all keep seeing buildings blown up, I don't know what's... So I said to Rashad, I explained all this. You know what he did? Him and his chat, they started leveling out. They started going, oh, well, you know, it's all hypocrisy. The chat started agreeing with me like, JB, you right. It was hella Nazis in Ukraine. Ooh. I was like, they didn't mute me. They're aligning with me. That rarely happens from a mainstream YouTuber. I couldn't believe I almost cried. You know what Captain Cesario did the other day? I was agreeing with everything he said. And then he said, likened to the scripture where John was called Beelzebub, I had one of my brothers go into a place, and he was saying the white man was the devil. And if somebody went up to him and said he had a bad spirit, then they were blaspheming the Holy Spirit for him calling white men the devil. I said, I did a bunch of M's and a big message. Not a big message. It was a line of M's, then 3 M's, then a line more of M's. There was a live chat. After glazing dude, right? He muted me, and they started clowning me because I didn't agree with that shit. I told you I feel about slavery and any of us being better than anybody else and any color being the devil. Man, y'all piss me off with that shit. Fuck General Johanna just because he trained that nigga Captain Cesaria. And if he think he's a gracious gift, you can suck my balls, buddy. So back to the main point. Thank you, Rashad. Because one thing I noticed about Rashad, this dude is leveling. There was a point in time Rashad was a right-wing conservative when he was young. Then that dude said he grew up and started paying attention, and he has done nothing but destroy Trump and the conservatives since then. Nothing but respect, player. Now, this isn't to disrespect my other homies and people that don't go live. It's just if you've been venturing social media, you'll have some people you really enjoy and find out who they are after typing some simple messages. Because I gotta tell you, life is yo, I'm finna share this comedian. This dude's funny. I think I already shared him, but this dude's he calls himself a hillbilly, but he's got some funny stuff. I think I already shared him. If you go down far enough, you see this guy, this white guy talking. I don't say Caucasian anymore because that's a mindfuck. When you're dealing with the Caucasus Mountain and Caucasia, you're dealing with Iran and Iraq and different places, the caves around there. That's Middle Eastern. What they're doing is they're trying to associate themselves with the Europeans because they've done so good with murdering a third of humanity that they got people to all want to be a certain faction. You guys are thinking of that. When you guys call Esau the Anglo-Saxons, Viking, barbarian, English church, you confuse the shit out of me. I'm telling you, the Africans and the Middle Asian, Eastern, whatever this is called, had a whole bunch of history before they came down. Whenever I see Anglo-Saxons talking about master race and how they invented society, G, I'm waiting for y'all to catch up so I don't say certain things. I just simply observe, you know. And so, shout out to the righteous. But then in shouting out to the righteous, I'm creating us versus them. But you know why that's good? We wouldn't be humans if it wasn't us versus them. Sometimes you gotta, I've said this in many videos, if you go too good, if you go too far this way, you're gonna fuck up the balance. And you're gonna cause evil people to be good. I'm telling you, dude. You gotta go back to the middle. And you gotta intertwine that shit. Because if you sit here and go, oh, only good forever and ever, I'll never cause harm. You know it's times to cause harm. And that's why we need to tell the whole of the truth. Because you know what's more important than all of the law? The whole of the truth. I was hiding stuff from myself as if myself was going to send myself to jail. Do that make sense to y'all? Sometimes we think about things and go, it's us. A lot of scriptures in that book are going to compare Jesus to God. It's going to sound like when Jesus speaks, he's sounding like he's God. But what you're seeing is a human, to the best of his ability, represents what he believes is the Spirit of God. That's it. Because as I've said in a trillion videos, all things are subjective and I am who I am. All of us. And what I choose to do, okay, so let's say we give King Jesus all the ultimate power. In order to say that, I have to say who I am gave that deity all the power. Then what I have to do is watch that deity give the 10 Commandments in poetry, that whole book, get murked because of it, and then new men tell them to worship him like a god. Who does that sound like? That's the Old Testament rewritten. Is the 10 Commandments not the lamb? It got ripped apart. What happens to lambs? We cut the throats. Then it got danced around, and then that lamb becomes God, right? Does that sound familiar? Without our sacrifices, we won't please God. Am I making sense to anybody? You're punching down every time you do that. Of course I am. I'm punching down. But the reason I punch down is because when you see this one who y'all feel ain't worthy for nothing, neck on, tie his hands to the horses. When that punches down and y'all can realize the empathy that y'all see for that, that's stage one. That's level one. When I can say racist things and y'all hear that, that's level one. You finally see it. I hate to get you to level 6, where it takes so long for you to see it, then it happens to you, and then it's like, fuck, this hurts. And then once you get to the 7th level of hell, it's rest, because you're going to be in that motherfucker forever. I don't believe in heaven and hell in terms of forever eternals, blah, blah, blahs. I mean, if I do something fucking stupid enough, it's going to affect my life forever. Maybe like a disease that can't go away. But why would I use that metaphor? Am I going to hurt people that have those? How about a human that never fucking learns? And so, Google glazes the shit out of my poetry. Because they see things that the writer didn't even see. Because Google is doing what I asked it to do. Greater things it is doing. Do you not understand how angels work now in that book? An angel will do whatever I tell it to do. So if there was only angels, I could predict 100% of the future. But if I create a situation where everything in a certain plane has free will, then the only way I know the future is if I already fucking played through it, like a calculated battle, then went back and watched the results and tried to change the results. Do you know what that's called? Cheating. Which means in real time, I have to, with people, watch what they do while they blame me. Is that not a lamb? What do you do after you sacrifice that lamb that you had to kill? You eat it, and you use it for warmth and comfort. Right? Y'all don't even know the Bible. The Noah's flood was 40 days with 2 animals. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. It wasn't 40 days or 40 nights. There wasn't 2 animals of each kind. There wasn't no fucking... Man, y'all don't... That... If you read the book for yourself, you're going to see a whole bunch of stupid shit. You're going to be like, I don't want to read this book. Then you're going to go out and be like, oh, maybe the holy man can decipher it for me. No, you were right when you said I don't want to read this fucking book. Figure it out. Before I end this video, an extra fuck you to the Hebrew Israelites. Because in a time when I need people to stop fucking playing, it's niggas that look like me, like the Hodge twins, Clandis Owens, Terrell K. Williams, the Hebrew Israelites and Captain Tazari and Johanna the gracious fat fuck that want to play fucking head games. And then they want to go off and blame every other fucking race, talking about, oh, I was telling my coworker at work this shit. I said, man, it's a mindfuck. And I was telling Rashad Chet this. Everybody who I advocate for, when I go do a little history, it's like, fuck, I helped them out for a second. Because you know why? Because I'm looking for the innocent. Anything to help those who don't got nothing to do with none of this shit, that have to live through this shit every day. So I hope y'all have a good day. Because some of y'all fucking suck. And some of y'all I could kick it with every fucking day. But I'll probably never find the ones that fucking suck enough. And the ones that, or the ones that'll be nice to kick it with every day. Oh, men of culture. No, I'm just playing. Because I'll never find the ones that are awesome enough in huge enough groups. And the ones that fucking suck will be presented to me continually. That's probably the realest shit you ever heard, right? Oh, yeah, the atheists. And when I say this, I am not strengthening you Christians or religious people. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy from all of you motherfuckers. I'm not sorry for what I just said. Atheists, every single time a Christian or Muslimian or Jihadian or Noahidian says that the earth was created 6,000 years ago. You know what atheists do? They bring up science. Go find me a scientist and then do a ratio of number of scientists that are religious versus non-religious, especially the Indians, the blacks, and the Chinese. Figure out what their religions are and figure out how many people are atheists. Most of them are religious. And then when you figure out how religious they are, they'll tell you, this is what atheists say. Then what about the dinosaur bones and the bones from the past archaeology? So then I point out how almost all archaeology is a lie with carbon dating because they're lying about African history and when these pyramids were built. And then I point out the fact that I said, oh, you guys said Jesus or John the Baptist never existed in totality, neither did Moses. I find Moses, all of his archaeological evidence, they have burial tombs. If he was the most famous pharaoh, where was he buried? And then they have John the Baptist's body. I'm sorry, Yehohanan. Right? But then, when I tell atheists that, you're playing in fairy tale land. You're playing in fairy tale land. None of it's true science. As their scientists who believe in religion dig up these bones and fossils of real men who were plagiarized based off that Bible. So why don't they want the plagiarisms known about? Because then they don't got no fake enemies to fight and they won't get thousands and millions of dollars from the little social medias helping people cope with atheism. They're all the fucking same.